A band of crystal lit with heaven's fire burst o'er the earth and flashed across the plain, reverberating through the reigning pyre of stories sung in cities built by Cain. A pinioned cloud danced rings around the flame, its cooing harmonized with chords of grace. A deep bass note encoded love reclaimed from kingdom's fall of mankind's ancient race. The resonating wings revealed a clouded face. The pigeon ether undulated free, an orchestra of feathers white as frost. The winged loom descended on the sea, from light it spun a subatomic cross. Bright feathers knit atomic helios, while oscillating sparks set fire to quills. Reverberating wings turned light to dust. The looming man from loom that seemed to trill emerged in flesh from cloud of sapphire blue beryl. The chorus swelled. The man stepped onto land, from clouds delivered to the darkened shore. He stood there naked, looking at the sand. His face shone bright like heated iron ore. White strands of hair presaged the coming war, while from his lips came songs in ancient tongue not heard since towers fell to angels' lore. He took a breath like snakes soak up the sun, his voice like thunder rolling over the waves. He sung, "I loved you from the first glance of your eye. Your garden was a paradise of doves. I came into my kingdom from the sky, because you left me languishing with love. I called you to my wrist, my falcon's glove, and promised I would warm you at my breast with aromatic spices from above. The winter now has gone, the rain has passed. Arise, make haste, my love, my dove, my one most blessed." A single tear ran down his bearded cheek as, longing, he looked toward the city's spires. A bird was gliding on a thermal peak in search of mankind's live electric wires, the currency with which to win empires. The man raised up his arm with outstretched wrist to welcome pigeon to his heart's desires. And when the dove perched there, just like a kiss, it promised such a love that brings eternal bliss. The man beheld the city's grand arcade, a castle rising from a courtside sea. Its jeweled towers glittered in array. Bright diadems of gem machinery banked currents of the great electron sea. Glass arches framed a crystalline flambeau, where golden walls reflected fractured beams as water burns with luminescent glow. He walked, unshod, along the bright electric bow. His feet left prints of blue along the strand, the waters phosphorescing with the tide, while from the city came the sound of hands, all clapping to one rhythm like a hive. The music of the bees called him to dive into the frenzied humming at its core, a hypnotheque of elemental jive. Its sweetness called his heart unbound to soar. The scent of honey left him hungering for more. A growl behind him made him turn his head. A wild dog stood his ground, a canine guard. "I have no food for you," the traveler said, and to the hound he gave no more regard. He stepped with doom upon the boulevard that wound its way up to the city gate. The paving stones and serpentine were hard. Beneath his feet they seemed to know their fate. The Canaan dog ran at his heels, his thirst to sate. The man was naked, no clothes for his loins. Upon the stones he found discarded skins that shimmered in the twilight vespertine like gemstones washed in rivers before sin. Around his waist, tied with an armored pin, he wrapped the scales the boa left behind, silks patched in colors like the harlequin. Its texture hymned its ancient crawl through time. "Who goes there?" cried a voice like God's own seraphim. "I am the man who's running out of time, the warper and the weaver of the web." The guard regarded him with mirth and said, "You seek love here? A drug for fools, I'd wage. You'll kill yourself upon a lonely bed. A liquor would be easier to gauge. Those who love start wild, then they fly into a cage." "It is for this that I have come to town, to gamble that my bride remembers me." "It's your funeral, mate." The bouncer frowned. He gestured towards the house magneto screen. A metal arch stood flashing tourmaline to scan the people as they came to play. The man stepped across the lintel regally into a grand, illumined hall of games. 6 chandeliers shone their lights on the night's ballet. He stood beneath a dome of towering height. The ceiling of the room was far away. A false sky met his gaze with twinkling lights, a belt of time in zodiac array. Gold curtains fell like waterfalls risque, and riverine they flowed around the vault. The veils were drawn across the grand archways and framed the ceiling made of dark cobalt. The neon lights flashed on and off like flaming salt. A sea of bronze upheld by oxen pairs stood brimful with the waters of the skies. The waters poured out over stony stairs into a fountain filled with golden bribes. A sterling current rolled its liquid ice, spewed by a dragon from the fountain's hearth, while on its base were words deeply incised. "All fate's a wager, boldly now cast forth. Dame Fortune favors those who go in quest of worth." 4 faces ringed the watery wheel of chance. A man, a bull, a lion, and a drake. Laid out in gemstones on the floor, they danced and bowed down towards the brazen oxen lake. Their wings were dazzling in the water's wake. 4 bodies were men, 3 faces beasts. The creatures proffered who would treasure take. The man surveyed them north, south, west, and east. Their mouths gaped open, hungering for souls to feast. "It's pretty trippy, yes?" a woman said. "Buy me a drink. You look like you've got style." She pursed her lips, her mouth blood diamond red, then gently tossed her hair to make him smile. "Why linger, wasting time on this sundial? I know some games that could keep us amused. Here, come with me." She gestured to the aisle. Then she looked down as if somewhat confused. "Is that your mutt? The management won't be enthused." "The creature's mine," the man replied. "And you?" "I roll my own dice, don't you fear," she bluffed. "The chef's to die for here. He's cordon bleu." "I love a good steak cooked on flames," he chuffed, while glancing at the diamonds on her cuff. "I was a star once. I can show you things." In vain some claim this city's not enough. Men chase fool's gold, but here you don't need wings. A lucky star like me can make slaves into kings. I've used a star as guide once upon a time. I wonder where your star will guide me now. It's in the cards. Can you count up to 9? Or throw the bones, 'cause they're a real cash cow. Roulette is fun if you like to play foul. But I would recommend a game of pool. If you feel lucky, you could try Pagao. For bankers' games, you need to know the rules. Or stake the one-armed bandit and collect 3 jewels. He looked at her, she smiled at him again. Her hair was shining in the dancing light. Her dress was made of silver, gold, and gems. A red-tipped ivory cigarette glowed bright. She winked at him through lashes, dark as night. Then blew soft rings of perfume in the air. Her cheeks were flushed, her teeth were snowy white. She tilted her head left and asked him fair, "So, will you join me in the court? I'll lead you there." On diamond black and white she crossed the floor. Her hips swayed with the rhythm of her spine. Her gold and silver gown, Christian couture, made promises to all who caught her eye. As queen of hearts, she numbered her domain, while players paused their games at 21. Bedazzled by the glory of their queen, they counted on her to increase their fun. With cards and every game they played under the sun.